Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome everyone. Today we are going to discuss VMware vSphere 8. And then we do have a lab. I will also cover that lab. And then I will also guide you how you can prepare your own lab and how you can continue your study. So before we start the lecture, do you have any idea regarding VMware, that what is VMware? Anyone? Okay. Yes, Amit. What is VMware? Let me ask Google. Maybe Google can answer me. When you write VMware, you can see here, it is an American cloud computing and virtualization technology company, right? Maybe you have heard about Microsoft, Cisco, Oracle. These are the software or the IT companies, right? So VMware is also one of the company. And once you visit their website, you will get to know about many product of VMware. So VMware is a company and VMware vSphere is a product, right? So what we are going to discuss in this lecture, that how we can configure this product, how we can install this product, and how we can manage this product. What is the benefit of using this product? So there is a technology called virtualization. So today's agenda is to discuss virtualization technology and how this technology can help you. Let's say you are from a computer science background. Let's say you are a professional, right? So how this technology can help you, right? So let's move forward. You can see here in this today's agenda, we will start with vSphere and virtualization overview. And then we have a lab, how we can install, configure VMware ESXi 8. 8 is basically the latest version. When I started learning this technology, it was 5.5 back in 2014. But now VMware has a latest version called ESXi 8. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss the latest version of ESXi. What is ESXi? We will discuss all these terms in today's lecture. Session will be like half an hour or maybe less than half an hour. So we will see based on your questions. If you have any question during the lecture, you can stop me on that time. If you feel to ask the question in the chat, you can ask me in the chat. If you feel to unmute yourself, you are allowed to unmute yourself and you can ask me question. And then we will discuss deploying virtual machines, and the last topic of today would be vCenter server overview. So we will see if we can also do some of the demonstration of the vCenter server, but due to limited time, we will only be able to cover the first three objectives of today, right? Before we actually start the lecture, the topic, do you have any idea what is data center? Anyone? Like, what is data center? If someone asks you what is data center, so what will be your answer? Data center, anyone know? Data center means server room, right? You have, many organizations, like these days, majority of businesses, they are dependent on IT, information technology. They are dependent on their applications, right? The best example is hospitals, right? You can see here, when you visit there, they ask for your details, and then when you visit next time, you don't need to provide all the information you have given them already, because they have stored your information in their databases, and they just enter your ID number or name, and they get all the details regarding your previous visits, right? So they have applications, right? And you can see inside the organization, people are communicating. So definitely they will be using email services, right? So again, their email services is also an application. So for each application, if you want to run in applications, you need hardware, right? Same like you, like for example, you are a computer science student, or maybe you are a IT student or any other field student, and you need to use an application. So definitely you need a hardware. You have a laptop. Then on the top of the laptop, you will need to install operating system. And then you install your applications. That is fine. But what is the limitation in this? Do you have any idea? What is the limitation? The limitation is, what if this hardware goes down for some reason, for power issue or any other hardware failure? So your operating system will stop working. And the application you are running on top of this operating system will also stop working. So for example, this is your email services. So all your employees, your customers, they would not be able to communicate with each other because of the hardware failure, right? Give me 1 second, guys. So this is the limitation of installing the operating system directly on the hardware. What is the other limitation? There are many limitations. The second limitation is, for example, you have 128 GB of RAM, right? So if you have 128 GB of RAM on your hardware and you have installed operating system, maybe you guys familiar with Windows Server operating system, right? So if you have Windows Server installed and you have Exchange services installed, maybe the normal utilization of your machine is only 64 GB RAM, right? In the normal time. So again, you are not utilizing the resources properly. So this is another limitation of installing operating system directly on the hardware. Maybe after 2 years or 3 years, you need to upgrade your environment, right? You need to replace your server hardware. So again, you need to power up your machines, right? Like you cannot do upgradation without turning off the machine. So there will be dependency on your hardware, right? This is the limitation of this server. Any question before I move to next slide? Anyone wants to add your input, you are allowed. I mean, if you have anything to add to this slide, you are free to add your input as well. Looks like you are good, right? Okay, I can see some. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Let me move forward. Now, the story begins. Let me clear the screen. Perfect. You can see here. What are we actually learning in today's lecture? Basically, our purpose is on the hardware. Let's say you have a server hardware, right? Is my voice clear now, Amit? Anyone else? My voice is clear, Amit?
Yes, sir, clear.
Perfect. Okay. Amit, you need to give me a lemonade so that I can speak loudly. I'm trying to speak loudly. I'm not using my headphones today because I got some issue, but hopefully my voice would be still okay to you guys because my laptop. Okay, got it. So let's continue. So what are we going to learn? Basically, we are going to install a hypervisor, right? What is hypervisor? It is an operating system, right? we have two types of hypervisor. One is called type 1. Type 1 hypervisor can be directly installed on the hardware. You can see here. This is directly installed on the hardware. So this is called type 1 hypervisor. So instead of operating system, first we will install hypervisor on the hardware, right? Once it is installed, then we will create virtual machines, right? So we will create virtual machines. So once we create the virtual machine, on the virtual machine, we will install operating system, and we will run our application. So what is the benefit of virtualization technology? The benefit is that we are able to run multiple operating system and applications on a single hardware. This is because of the virtualization technology. So we actually shared the physical resources of the server, right, among different applications. What is the second benefit? Let's say you got some problem on this machine, right? So once you get this problem on this machine, you can easily move these virtual machine to the other one. Let me show you something. I believe you are able to see my screen, right? The loading console. Is it visible to you guys?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you something like practically, like I will show you virtual machine, and I will also demonstrate that how you can move a powered on virtual machine from one hardware to another hardware. Okay, so before the lab is ready, uh, do you guys have a laptop, right? I think you all have a laptop, right? How much RAM you have on your laptop? Anyone? Okay, 16 GB.
Sir, 8 GB.
Okay. Which operating system is installed on your laptop?
Sir, sorry, I don't have an idea.
Okay, no problem. Okay, Mr. Irfan has a Windows 10 installed on his laptop, right?
Windows 10, sir.
Okay. And uh, what if I ask you to install an application, and that application needs Linux operating system to be installed on your machine? So are you able to install uh, a Linux compatible application on your Windows 10? That is not possible. You will need to remove Windows 10 from your machine, and then you are going to install Windows 10. What if you are a student, right? What if you are working in a production environment, you are a professional person, and you need to run multiple applications which are compatible with two different operating systems. So it is not possible to run those applications on a single hardware. And you will definitely need two separate hardware. But with virtualization technology, what you can do, you can uh, get a solution. How you can get a solution? Let me just show you. As I mentioned that we have in hypervisor, basically, we have type 1 hypervisor. Type 1 hypervisor, we can install directly on the hardware. And we have, let me mute you all. Okay. So we have type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. So we have two types of hypervisor currently, right? Type 1 hypervisor is this one. Like it can be directly installed on the hardware. For type 2 hypervisor, you need a hardware like your laptop. On your laptop, you can install Windows 10 or Linux operating system. And on top of your operating system, then you will install hypervisor, right? So for type 2 hypervisor, you need an underlying operating system first to be installed on the hardware, and then you will install type 2 hypervisor. So you can also use virtualization technology for your personal use. And in production environment, as Amit mentioned, we use type 1 hypervisor, which we can install directly on the hardware. I can also name some of the hypervisor, type 2 hypervisor. So I believe you would be familiar with VMware Workstation, right? VMware Workstation is a type 2 hypervisor. VMware ESXi is a type 1 hypervisor. There are other companies as well, like Microsoft. So Microsoft has Hyper-V as type 1 hypervisor. Citrix is one of the company which also has a virtualization platform that is called Citrix Hypervisor. Back in the days, it was Zen Server, but now the name is Citrix Hypervisor. We have Nutanix. On the type 2 hypervisor side, we have Oracle VirtualBox. So I would see if I can arrange another webinar to discuss VirtualBox or type 2 hypervisor like VMware Workstation. But today's agenda is that we are going to work on the hypervisor, ESXi hypervisor, right? How we will also discuss some of the features of this product. So before I move to next slide, do you have any question so that I can answer? Anything you want to add? Okay. Seems like you guys are understanding this. I'm going to access my lab. Let me pause recording for a while. So you can see here, this is my management PC. When I open the browser, okay. So before I start the lab, actually, let me show you something. First, the first step is to install the ESXi hypervisor. So let me just give you an overview. The first thing, so if you have a hardware, for example, you have a laptop or CPU or server hardware, right? So we are going to install ESXi hypervisor on top of this hardware, right? That is our first goal. So we are going to install ESXi hypervisor on top of this. So you can simply go to VMware site. Let me just show you. The first thing, you can simply write VMware ESXi installation. First, you need to understand the installation requirement, like how much RAM you need, how much CPU you need, and all these stuff, right? So the first step is to visit VMware site like this. Is my voice clear, guys? just to confirm. So you can visit this site. Kindly turn off your cameras so that I can get better quality. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to stop your cameras. Okay. Thank you. So visit this site. Check for the ESXi hardware compatibility, like how much RAM you would need on your hardware, right? The second step is you also need to confirm from VMware compatibility metric site. There is a website. You can visit this site and then you can put your server hardware information, that whether that hardware support ESXi 8 or not. So if it doesn't support ESXi 8, then you need to upgrade your hardware. There is a cheat method also available. I would not recommend that in your production environment, but just to let you know, there is a website, this website, there is a link. And once you read this article, I'm going to share the link of that article to all of you toward the Zoom. You can copy it in your laptop. So you can also read this article. It will guide you how you can install ES6i 8 if your hardware doesn't support ES6i 8. It will not work 100% all the time, but majority of time it will work. And it is also not recommended in production environment. So just keep in mind. Now I know you guys will confuse that if you do not have a server hardware, so how you are going to practice this. So I can guide you. Basically, there is a website, VMware HOL. Once you visit this site, right, you need to create a VMware account. There is no charge for that. You can create an account for free, just like you create Gmail account or Facebook account. You can create a user account here. Once you create account, click the catalog button, and these are all the labs available for free. You do not need to pay for it. Let's say you are learning vSphere technology. So you can click this filter and you can click product and click vSphere. So once you click vSphere product, you can see 28 labs are available only for vSphere product. You do not need to cover all the labs because some of the labs are not for you. It's once you get to know about vSphere, then you can search the relevant lab and you can perform your activities and you can learn the technology. What I would suggest for the beginners, you can scroll down and there will be a lab called VMware vSphere Virtualization 101. And I already started this lab right now. Once you started this lab, there is a guide on the left side, and even it will guide you how you can install the product. So you can see here, this is how you can install ES6i hypervisor. I do have some of my lectures available on YouTube, where I have installed this product on the physical machine or the real server, right? You can also watch that lecture. I will share it. And you can also get the help from the VMware HOL. So this is how you can install ES6i hypervisor on the hardware. You can follow the instruction mentioned here. Once you follow the instruction, right, you can install this product like this. So this is basically a webinar. This is not a proper like as a training. So which is why I'm going a little bit fast so that we can cover more topics in today's agenda. But no worries, I will share the relevant materials and documents and videos links so that you can cover all the topics from that as well, right? And there are another best platform that is called VMware Docs, VMware documentation. you can docs.vmware.com. You can visit this site, and let's say you are learning, you are interested in to learn vSphere. Why I always push the vSphere? Because vSphere is the foundation. So if you are new to virtualization technology, you should start from vSphere, right? And let's say you are a network guy. For example, some of my students, they are like a CCNA or CCNP or CCIE. So I would suggest them to start from vSphere first, and then the second product would be NS6, which is a network virtualization product. Same as Horizon. It is designed for desktop virtualization, right? So we have VMware Area Automation. This is a reporting tool, or you can assessment tool, right? And we have other products also available. So the first product I would suggest that would be vSphere. So you can go to vSphere, and then you can read the documentation. You can also download the documentation, and you can print it, and you can cover all the topics, right? So let's go back to the slides again. This was all about like the intro, like what is hypervisor, type 1 hypervisor, type 2 we discussed, right? And we have also learned that how you can install this product. So uh, if you do not have a hardware available, what you can do, you can perform all the lab on your VMware workstation as well. So I hope you would be familiar with VMware workstation. If not, I will provide the video link here. Let me just open my YouTube channel so that I can show you. Here you can see this is my YouTube channel. Once you click the playlist button, right, we have many lectures available regarding VMware workstation. You can visit here, and I would suggest a lecture that is the VMware vSphere walkthrough. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share the link of this video in the Zoom chat. So I would highly recommend to watch this lecture as well, right? So let's move forward. Let me just show you the lab. So this is all about the installation method. You can follow these steps. So let me quickly finish these things. And let me show you the actual interface of the ES6i hypervisor, how you can create virtual machine and all this stuff. Let's say you are done with the lab. You can simply click next, and this is the lab. Okay. So let's assume the hypervisor is installed. What we have learned so far, for example, you have a hardware, right? On top of the hardware, we have installed ES6i hypervisor. So once you install the hypervisor, right? Let's say this hardware is connected to the switch, and let's say you have a Windows 10 machine. So what you can do actually, you can simply open a browser, like we have opened a browser here. You can open a tab, and you can access this machine or this host on a browser, right? So you can access it directly using the browser. So looks like we got some technical issue. Give me 1 second, guys. Before we actually move into the lab, if you have any question, you can ask me in the meantime. I'm going to end this so that I can start another one. Simply. It also needs a good internet. So the reason it is taking time because my internet is not stable today for some reason. But in your case, you will not face this latency. Okay. So I just open the browser. Once you open the browser, you can open a tab and you can simply access the hypervisor like this. So, right, the FQDN, if you have a DNS server installed, you can use the FQDN. If you do not have a DNS server, you can access it through IP address, right? So this is the interface of the ESXi hypervisor, right? This is the hypervisor overall that you can access it. So let me go back to the slide again, and let's see. We have. Okay, this is my introduction. If you do not know me, my name is Kashif Ali, and I'm basically working in a company as inside solution architect for VMware Technologies. I received 3 VMware vExpert Award. The reason you get the VMware vExpert Award is that you are sharing your knowledge to the community. So just like now I am giving you a demo on VMware technology, I used to give it. I have given many other webinars, so that is the reason I received this award. I have done VCP, DCV, which is a VMware certified professional certification. So I have VCP, DCV, data center virtualization, and digital workspace one, right? This is all about my introduction. I wish that I could also ask you to introduce yourself, but due to limited time, I would move forward. But still, if you are willing to introduce yourself, anyone, so I would be happy to unmute yourself and you can introduce yourself, or you can share something about your experience regarding VMware technologies. Or if you want to add something to the session, so you can add it. Okay, as we discussed, that vSphere is a product, right? So, yep, I will share the PDF, Amit. Just give me, I think in the last slide, I have my email address information. So you guys can send me an email and I will share the PDF document as well. So vSphere is basically a virtualization platform. It is a product which we use for virtualization and specifically for server virtualization. As I mentioned that we have NSX product for network virtualization. We have Horizon for desktop virtualization. We have vSAN product for storage virtualization. And this product, the VMware vSphere, this is basically designed for server virtualization. Like you can see here, this is a server hardware, right? A compute virtualization, you can say, and hypervisor is installed, ES6. And why it is called vSphere? Because vSphere is a combination of 2 products, ESXi and vCenter server. Let's say you have 2 ESXi hosts, 1, 2. Like even in the lab, let me go back to the lab. You can see here, this is which hypervisor, which ESX3. So let me copy this. because in our lab, we have 3 ESXi hosts available. So let me copy this. Let me open a tab and let me paste it and let me change 3 to 2 and let me access it. So this is ESXi2. So if you have multiple ESXi hosts in your environment, it is difficult to access each ESXi host individually. So we do have a software called vCenter Server. So this is a vCenter Server overview. So instead of managing the host individually like this, right? You can simply log into vCenter Server and we can see we have 1 and 2. We do not have 3 added yet. So let me just show you how you can add another host. So let me click add host because it is on the same network. So I will just paste it, the information, right? And I just click next, username and password of that host. And I just added another host to my vCenter server. So now I have 3 ESXi hosts, right, connected to my vCenter server, and I'm able to perform all the tasks. Right? And what is the benefit of managing your environment through vCenter server? Once you are managing your environment through vCenter server, you will get vMotion feature, storage vMotion feature, FT, high availability, DRS, vSphere, distributed switch, right? Template, cloning, right? So all these features will only be available if you are managing your environment from vCenter server. So vCenter server is the very important component of vSphere. So if someone asks you what is vSphere, you can simply answer them that vSphere is a combination of ESXi hypervisor and vCenter server. ESXi is the hypervisor. vCenter server is the centralized management tool, like the management tool, which provide you a facility to manage multiple ESXi hosts from a single dashboard. And it also provides you a vMotion capability. What is vMotion? vMotion means moving a powered on VM from one host to another one. Like, let me just show you. When you click this virtual machine Windows 10, currently this Windows 10 virtual machine is hosting on ESXi2. Let's say you want to power up this host hardware so that you can add more RAM. For maintenance, you need to power off this host. So what if you power off this hardware? Definitely this virtual machine will stop working. And what if you have critical application running on this virtual machine? So is it a good practice to power off this virtual machine? No. So what you can do, you can simply right click on this VM. You can click migrate and you can click next and you can select ESXi1. And this is how you can move a powered on virtual machine. You can also see the activity in the recent task. And now this Windows 10 machine is currently running on which host? It is running on this one. So we just moved this VM from this host to this host. That is vMotion. So you will only get this feature once you are managing your environment from vCenter server. One more thing, this is not like that. This is not that much simple. For vMotion, definitely there are some configuration required. There are some requirement like shared storage, right? So there are some prerequisites before configuring vMotion. So all these things we will discuss once you cover all the topics or you cover all the. Are you getting now? Any question? One more thing. The purpose of today's session is to give you an introduction regarding one of the training, which I'm going to start from next week. That is basically a data center virtualization VCP DCV training. It is a 40 hours lecture training, right? Hopefully it will open the website. For some reason, I'm getting some error, but this is the training. VMware vSphere install, configure, and manage. This is a 40 hours lecture training. It has 10 modules, right? So once you finish this 10 module, you will be an expert of this technology. So for some reason, I'm not able to open the website, maybe some technical issue. Otherwise, I would show you the course outline, that which topics would be covered in the whole training, right? So you can also visit this site. Let me share the link in the chat so that you can open this and check this link, and you will get to know about the VMware vSphere, right? That is the story. So any question in this slide before we move forward? Like, what is vSphere? So if someone asks you what is vSphere, you can simply answer them, it is a product, right? For virtualization, server virtualization. It has two components, ESXi and vCenter Server. vSphere features. So we discuss all these features like vSphere vMotion. What is vMotion? vMotion provide you a facility to move a powered on VM from one host to another host, from one hardware to another hardware, right? We have storage vMotion. Let's say, let me add another storage to my environment. The reason I'm adding these, some of the steps, maybe you would not be able to understand right now, but once you finish all the topics and once you get attend the training, then you will get to know all the options that we are doing right now. So as you can see here, I just added another storage device. Why? Because I have a shortage of storage. This Windows 10 machine more storage, and this is not currently available with the hardware. So I just added another storage, this one. So once I click the data store, currently this virtual machine data are stored here on this data store, on this storage device. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change the storage of a powered on virtual machine. And this method is called storage vMotion, right? So let me click next and I'm done. So what I just did, I just changed the storage of a powered on virtual machine. And this is called which option? Storage vMotion, right? So we just discussed the another option. What is template? What if someone asks you to create 10 virtual machines and install Windows 10 and then install MS Office? So I think it will take a lot of time because you are going to create 10 virtual machine, then Windows 10 installation, and then installation of MS Office. And you are repeating the same task 10 times. So what you can do, you can create a single virtual machine and install Windows 10 and install MS Office softwares or any other applications. And you can convert that virtual machine into templates. And from that single template, you can deploy multiple virtual machine. And once you deploy VMs from the template, operating system and application will be installed on those. So it's like, maybe you guys heard about cloud computing. So in AWS and Azure, you do not install operating system on the virtual machine. You just select your operating system and they automatically give you deploy a virtual machine from you with operating system already installed. So within a minute, your machine is ready. So for example, you have won the project and they ask you to start working on that project, and you need 50 virtual machines for that, right? And you have very limited time. So with using template, you can automate some of your tasks and you can make 50 virtual machine ready in minutes instead of hours, right? We have high availability feature. High availability feature, high availability feature is, let's say, if something happens to one hardware, let's say on this hardware, you have one virtual machine running. So we have this ESXi host and it has this VM running. So if something happens to this host, like hardware failure or any other failure, right? So definitely this VM will be suffer. So if you have high availability feature enabled, right? And if something happened to this host, what will happen? This VM will be restarted on the other host. That will be available on the other host. And let me just show you practically. Let me enable high availability option. I'm going to enable high availability. So I just enable high availability option, right? And okay. And you can see here, high availability feature is now enabled. What is HA? It is a feature which give you protection, host failure protection, virtual machine failure protection, right? So these are the feature which you can get from this one. What happened to my labs today? This is the second time I'm getting this issue. So hopefully interesting. Maybe I need to reload the console. Oh, so we have high availability feature. FT is another feature. DRS is feature, right? So we have these features available. We also discussed what is hypervisor. So I think this slide explained it very well. Like type 2 hypervisor. You can see it is installed on operating system. In this one. What is the name of the hypervisor used by Microsoft? Can someone name it? Anyone? Yep, perfect. Thank you, Shehzad. So ESXi is a hypervisor. It is a bare metal hypervisor. Bare metal mean it can be directly installed on the hardware, right? And these are some of the requirements for hypervisor, ESXi hypervisor. So you can also visit the VMware website, and there you can find the requirements of the hypervisor, like what are the requirement of that hypervisor. So before installing the product, first you need to visit the VMware site so that you can see the actual RAM requirement, memory requirement, the CPU requirement, and all these stuff, right? Demonstration. So I just give you a little bit demonstration, like how you can install the product. And I shared the video lecture also, so that you can follow it. If you are doing a practice on your laptop, I would suggest this thing. Like, for example, you have a laptop available and you want to learn how to work on the ES6i hypervisor. So let's say you have a laptop and you have Windows 10 or 11 installed, right? Whatever operating system you have installed, right? Just install VMware Workstation. It is a product which you can install on your laptop without affecting your operating system. And then you can create virtual machine, right? And on top of the virtual machine, you can install ES6i hypervised like this, right? Then you can do practice on your laptop as well. But if you are not able to install this product and work on that, so I also showed you that we do have this VMware HOL platform available. You just need an internet connection and you just need some time. And you can follow these, on the left side, you can follow these instructions. And you can see, you will also get the notes. You can see the diagrams, right? Everything is available here. So just start working on this, and then it will also show you how you can open the lab and how you can log into the vCenter server. So everything is available here, and you can see. And they also put some links for more studies. So let's say your product is ready and you want to install operating system. So you can create virtual machine like this, right? So what is virtual machines? Let me explain. Normally, we have a physical machine. So in physical machine, what we have, let's say you have a computer, physical machine. So you have CPU, memory, right, RAM, disk, and network adapters. And then you have operating system, and then you have drivers installed. This is how your physical machines looks like. And you are working on that machine. What is virtual machine? So virtual machine has a virtual CPU and memory, vCPU, VNet, VNIC, virtual network adapter, guest operating system, right? VMware tools, drivers, right? Drivers. And we have GPU, graphic card. If you have a graphic card, so virtual machine also supports GPU, virtual GPU, right? What is the benefit of virtual machine over physical machine? We can move virtual machine from one hardware to another hardware, even if the virtual machine is running, right? Let's say you have a server hardware or CPU, and I ask you to move this CPU without powering off. Is it possible? It's not possible. You will need to power off that machine and then you will move it. Another thing I think there is another slide as well. Let me show you. Okay, this is just an overview, like how much RAM you can assign to a single virtual machine, right? So the VMware vSphere 8 virtual machine has a capability that it can support up to 24 TB of RAM. But if you have 24 TB available, right? So if you have a server hardware with 24 TB RAM, and you need to create a VM with 24 TB virtual RAM, it is possible now, right? So maybe you will be thinking that how why we would need that much of RAM? There are some applications which need more resources, right? Like I would name one of the application called SAP, SAP. Maybe you guys familiar with this application. So there are some organization, they have a very big deployments. So VMware has a solution for that as well, right? So we can create, like, let's say you want to create a virtual machine. We already have 3 virtual machines running here. This is Windows 10 virtual machine. So let me log into Windows 10 virtual machine because majority of students would be a Windows people. I'm also a Windows guy. I'm not a Linux person. So I just log into a Windows 10 virtual machine. What if your management asks you to create another Windows 10 virtual machine, right? So option number 1, you can right click on your ESXi host. You can click new virtual machine, right? Let me change the size of the screen.
For a while. About that 10 feet one the other day, but Lord.
Okay. So I just click next and I can simply write Windows 10 VM, right? And I just selected this host. And let's say I select the storage for this one. All right. Guest operating system, I'm going to install Windows 10 64-bit, for example. And I can select the hardware for this one. So this is how you can create a virtual machine. Let's say I just created 20 GB, let's say 2 GB RAM I need, storage, right? And this is how you can create a virtual machine. So I just created a virtual machine, but this virtual machine does not have any operating system installed. Now the second step is to install operating system and then install application. It is a very difficult task. Like it is a time consuming task. So let me delete this virtual machine and let me show you. We do have another option available. Like we can simply right click on the VM. We can click clone and we can select clone to virtual machine. So I can create a copy of this virtual machine. I can also convert this virtual machine into template, which is also called a master copy of a virtual machine, and we can deploy many virtual machines. And once we deploy a virtual machine from that template, we do not need to install operating system, or we do not need to install an application on that virtual machine. So this is also a beauty of the virtualization. Right? Khwaja, I'm recording the lecture. So once we cover the lectures, I will simply upload it to my YouTube channel and then everyone can download it. So you don't need to record it on your behalf. I just receive a notification from you. Right? So this is the a simple overview, like how you can install the create a virtual machine. vCenter server. It is vCenter server. This is the interface of the vCenter server, the one we are showing right now. This one. This is the dashboard. When you click here, we have a shortcuts. These are some of the options. So we cannot cover all the options here because this is just a demo session, the intro session. But from next week, I will be starting a proper training of this course, which is a 40 hours training. Every week, we will cover 4 hours, like 2 hours Saturday and 2 hours on Sunday. So every week, Saturday, Sunday, I will be giving a training, online training with our own labs. This is just a VMware HOL lab. So in my training, we will cover our own lab. I will show you how you can actually install the product on your home lab, right? And I will also guide you how you can prepare your home lab. So this was okay. All about today's lecture. If you have any question, you can reach out to me on my email. This is my Facebook page information. I'm also on Instagram. So if you are an Instagram person, so you can reach out to me there. This is my LinkedIn profile information. So you can reach out to me on any of the platform, and I would try to answer your queries, or if you need some help. So we will do that. I cannot, Anil, just send me an email. Then with the subject line, provide the PDF so that I can share the information with you.